Chapter 21. Scarlet. Less than 24 hours after leaving and days before I was supposed to return, I end up back in New York. I'm sleep-deprived and stressed, to the point the watercolor print I'm staring at has turned into a meaningless blur of pastel. I wonder who decorates hospital waiting rooms, who gets to choose the framed artwork you'll stare at, and the color of the chairs you'll sit in during the worst hours of your life. The trip back to New York was a blur. I watched it unfold like a movie, not as a participant. And I was able to because Crew handled everything. Our luggage, his family, chartering the flight back, the car waiting at the airport to bring us to New York General in record time. I found out my father was in surgery while I was thousands of miles away. Now I'm in the same building, and he's still cut open on an operating table. I'm exhausted, but this plastic chair is too uncomfortable to fall asleep in. My mother is sitting next to me, pale and silent. The only reaction I've gotten out of her since I arrived was when she saw Crew came back with me. She was surprised. My parents' marriage doesn't show up during the best of times. Seeing mine do so in the worst of them was clearly a shock. It didn't even occur to me to fight Crew on coming back with me, but her stunned expression made me think I should have. Made me realize how much I rely upon him now. If he hadn't been next to me when my mother called, he would have been the first person I told about my father's heart attack. My relationship with my father is complicated. It always has been. He wanted a son, not a daughter. A dutiful child, not the rebel I turned into. I love him, but it's mostly an obligatory sort of affection. I resent him for how he treats my mother, how he treats me, for being embarrassed by my ambition instead of encouraging it. If I'd refused to marry a Kensington, I'm not sure we'd still have any sort of relationship. He might die. I'm no doctor, but the fact the surgery is taking so long doesn't seem like a good sign. And if he dies, he'll never meet my child. My motivations for not telling my parents about the pregnancy are mostly petty. I wanted my father to see this baby as a grandchild, not an heir. He would have been thrilled to hear his bloodline is continuing. Now he may never know. My mother keeps checking her watch. It's annoying, the small motion that catches my attention every time she does it. But I don't ask her to stop. I don't have a better way to distract her. The only way I can think of is blurting news that shouldn't be delivered in a somber, impersonal waiting room while she's waiting to learn if she's a widow. I wish Crew was still here. He went to take Teddy and our luggage back to the penthouse. A man wearing a set of scrubs appears in the open doorway and heads our way. We both stand in tandem as he approaches. Mrs. Ellsworth? Yes, my mother replies. Her voice is tight and tense, pulled taut. The surgeon looks to me. Are you a relative? I'm his daughter. He nods. Well, I'm pleased to report Hanson pulled through the surgery. He's got a long road of recovery ahead, but there's no reason to think he won't make a complete one. He's lucky the ambulance arrived so quickly, and we were able to get him in the OR immediately. He's being transferred to recovery right now. I'll have a nurse let you know when you can see him. All right. My mother's sigh of relief is audible. Thank you so much, doctor. The man smiles before he leaves. My mother sinks back down into her seat. She was cagey on the phone, and when I arrived on details about what exactly happened, the surgeon's comments, about details my mother didn't already know, clarifies things some. She wasn't there when he had the heart attack. He was with another woman, wasn't he? She's the one who made sure the ambulance arrived so quickly. My mother holds my gaze, doesn't look away or fiddle with anything or make excuses. Yes. I sigh, shake my head. Why do you stay with him, Mom? Why do you put up with it? It's how things are, Scarlet. You know that. But it's not how they have to be. Dad isn't worth it. Let him go. And do what? Get a life sounds too harsh. I don't know. Be happy. I hear a younger Scarlet in the suggestion. One less jaded. One who believed in happy endings. She laughs. Oh, sweetheart. This life is what makes me happy. Being Josephine Ellsworth is who I want to be. Your father is far from perfect, but he's a good man. I knew exactly what we'd be when I met him for the first time. Everything that we would never be. I made my peace with it before we got married. What do you mean? We wanted the same things. He needed a wife. I wanted a husband. Our fathers agreed, and that was that. I'm aware how an arranged marriage works, I say, tone dry. She used to tell me their marriage hadn't been arranged, that they were in love, and it was just another lie. Part of the perfect family facade to try on when it suited. I pretend I don't care. I'm in one, remember? My mother smiles. It's the same one she always gives me when she thinks I'm being ridiculous. No, you're not. I give her a look thick with disbelief. You planned the wedding. Yes, I did. I saw it then and I see it now. That boy is in love with you, Scarlett. I'm so shocked by her words I can barely blink. I know Crew cares. Things between us have evolved into a friendship, and a comfort I never imagined our marriage might contain. But love? My mother is in shock. Her husband had a heart attack and was found with his mistress. But still, you're delusional. No, honey. That's you. My mother has perfected the art of spewing condescension in a sweet tone. It layers every syllable. Why do you think he came all this way? I swallow and admit, I'm pregnant. My mother's face lights up. Really? I nod. It's confused things between us. I'm hormonal and it's just, he's a good guy. It's not the full truth. Lines blurred between me and Crew long before two of them appeared on the pregnancy test. But it's the story I'm sticking with when it comes to my mother. I wish we had the sort of relationship where I could confess everything that's happened between us, the way Crew makes me feel. But we don't, and it's never bothered me more than it does right now. I've always prided my independence. I'm not the spoiled rich girl who has her every whim catered to. My default appearance is poised and prepared. But right now I want to fall apart. Crew walks into the waiting room, and my heart does a silly little skip. Any news? He asks, taking the seat beside me. He's out of surgery. Should make a full recovery. I share the update like it's a weather report. But I don't feel obligated to play the loving daughter in front of Crew. I know he won't judge me. Good. My mother leans forward. Congratulations, Crew. Scarlett shared the happy news about the baby. He doesn't look surprised, I told my mother. Thank you. We're excited. His hand squeezes my thigh. My mother gives me a pointed look. I ignore it. She's in no position to be doling out relationship advice. You should go get some sleep, sweetie, she tells me. You look exhausted. I haven't slept in. I try to count the hours. A while. Go. Your father will be out of it for a while. I'll send you any updates. Okay. It doesn't take much for me to agree. Sitting on hard plastic while my mother justifies her money-motivated decision to stay with my father hasn't been a blast. Silently, Crew stands and offers me his hand. I take it. Bye, Mom. It feels wrong leaving her sitting there all alone. I can't picture my father holding a vigil if the roles were reversed. Never before have I tried to analyze my parents' relationship this closely. I just took it at face value. I know why I'm peering closer now. I have something to compare it to. I want everything they're not. Crew says nothing as we leave the hospital and climb into the waiting car. It's dark out. I don't know what time it is. What day it is even. I stare out the window seeing nothing. Even once we pull into the garage, my eyes don't focus. My limbs don't move. The door on my side of the car opens. Crew leans in, unbuckling my seatbelt and lifting me into his arms. I press my face against his warm neck, inhaling the familiar scent of his cologne. You smell good. I showered. His steps are sure and solid as he walks over to the elevators. I don't open my eyes. He was with his mistress when it happened, not my mom. She doesn't care. She says she never cared. I hope that's true or else I'm screwed. I squeeze my eyes tighter. I can't even remember the last time I was this tired. I mumble. And I'm always tired. Crew somehow manages to hold me, and also flash the car to get the elevator moving. You're so strong, I sigh. I feel like everything is falling apart. Like I am. His grip on me tightens. Nothing is falling apart, Red. Everything is fine. Your dad will be fine. I know. I'm relieved. You know why? Because my first thought when I heard he had a heart attack was that if he died, I would have had to take over Ellsworth Enterprises. Or sell it. Or I don't even know what I would have done. How sad is that? It's understandable. Your relationship with him is complicated. All of my relationships are complicated. The doors open with a ding. I open my eyes to the familiar sight of the entryway to the penthouse I've started thinking of as ours, not mine. Crew doesn't set me down and I don't ask him to. He just strides for the stairs. Have you talked to your dad? I ask. Crew shakes his head. I'm sure he'll call about something work-related soon. Until then, I'm not getting involved in the Candace drama. I blink. Wow. I completely forgot about that. You've had a lot going on. You should talk to them, Crew. I used to think that Arthur and Oliver were closer than Arthur and Crew. That Oliver resented Crew for usurping and outshining him. But I realize Crew is the glue holding his family together on the flight to the Alps. Arthur and Oliver both rely on him to handle whatever needs handling. I don't like that I've become another burden Crew has to carry, literally at the moment. I lean on him, need him, rely on him, and he's never needed my support the same way. You should sleep. He lays me down on the soft fabric of my comforter. Staying up all night can't be good for the baby. I can't distinguish his concern for me from his concern for the baby. He carried me to bed once before I was pregnant. Would he have carried me tonight if I wasn't? I tried to sleep on the plane, I mutter. I know, baby. The soft tone of his voice temporarily soothes my worries. My dad is fine. You can go back to the chalet. Spend Christmas with your dad and brother. Your family. He says nothing for a long minute. I don't want him to go, and I'm worried he took it the wrong way, that I do. I wish it were brighter in here. The hall light doesn't illuminate his whole face. Most of it is shadowed. I can't see his expression, but I can feel something pulsing in the air between us. Before I can decide what it is, he speaks. My family is right here. 5 words, and they decide more between us than the 200-page document that was supposed to govern this arrangement. If our story had a different start, I'd respond to that sentence with 3. I'd admit he's become my whole world. The first thing I think about when I wake up and the last before I fall asleep. The first person I'd call with good news or bad. My family. Pretty promises can be deceptive. All I hear in Crew's words are truth. Not ugly but real. Before my tired brain can come up with a response, he stands and moves away. Get some sleep, Red. The bedroom door closes and I'm alone in the dark. I realize maybe you don't have to have already experienced something to know you're experiencing it for the first time. My emotional experience with men is laughably limited, as in non-existent. I was so busy teaching myself not to get hurt, I never let anyone close. Crew Kensington doesn't just have the ability to hurt me. He holds the power to destroy me, if he ever decides to. Chapter 22. Crew. I'm running on the treadmill when Asher calls. I debate answering. I slept poorly in the guest room I used to inhabit. Scarlett is still sleeping. I didn't want to disturb her last night. When he calls for a second time, I answer. Before I can say a word, he asks, what the fuck is going on? Is it true? I falter. Is what true? Is Kensington Consolidated getting investigated for insider trading? Shock freezes up my limbs. I almost fall on my face. What? Where did you hear that? Asher swears. Where didn't I? It's all over the place, Crew. Papers, television, online. Lead story. Front page. I had to go into the back entrance of the office to avoid the 50 reporters outside. We need to talk more tomorrow, Crew. Realization hits me like a sack of bricks when I recall my father's parting words the last time we spoke. He wasn't talking about Scarlett or Candace. Dread trickles down my spine. I turn the treadmill off and collapse on the floor, breathing heavily. Talk about a shitstorm of a week. My brother potentially knocking up our stepmother, Hanson Ellsworth's heart attack, and now this. I don't know, I admit. Aren't you with your dad? No. Scarlett's father had a heart attack yesterday. We're back in New York. Asher inhales. Shit. Is Hanson going to pull through? He should be fine. There's a beat of silence. This is a 5-alarm fire, Crew. People are panicking. Phones are ringing off the hook. Stock is off the cliff. I scrub at my face. Who broke the story first? I don't know. Why? I need you to find out. Crew, we're way past the point of containment. This shit is everywhere. Discrediting one source isn't going to. True or not, someone leaked this. I interrupt. I want to know who. Asher sighs. Okay. I'll do some digging. I hang up and call my father. Voicemail. Call Oliver. Same. My feeling of foreboding grows. They knew about this. Both of them. My next call is to Brent Parsons, the head of Kensington Consolidated's legal team. Luckily for him, assuming he wants to keep his job, he answers on the first ring. Parsons. It's Crew. You've seen the news. Reading it now. What's your gut? There was definitely an investigation. Too many details to be totally fabricated. But if the feds had anything solid, we would have found about this very differently. Whoever leaked this probably did us a favor. A favor? Stock has dropped 10 points in an hour, Brent. This came out sooner than they wanted. We can hit back while they still have nothing. Defamation. Document requests. I'm already coordinating with public relations on putting out a statement. Assuming there's no smoking gun, we'll be fine. He hesitates. Unless there's anything you need to tell me? If there is, I don't know it. Brent sighs. That's probably for the best. I'll keep you in the loop on everything. Do you want me to copy Arthur as well? No. Everything goes through me. You got it. I hang up and stalk down the hallway to take a shower. The door to our bedroom is still shut, so I head to the guest room's bathroom. The hot water washes away the sweat, but none of the worries. I should have taken Royce Raymond's offer. If I had, I wouldn't be in the middle of this shitstorm all alone, with a pregnant wife, a kid on the way who's supposed to inherit this burning legacy. When I enter the kitchen, Philip is standing at the stove, cooking. "Merry Christmas, Mr. Kensington," he greets. And of course it's fucking Christmas. 'Tis the season for corporate espionage. "Merry Christmas, Philip," I reply. I rub my forehead, feeling the few hours of sleep I'm running on. "You didn't need to come in today. I didn't even realize." He smiles. "It's no trouble. The usual this morning." "Yes, please." I take a seat at the table and scroll through the news as Philip cooks my omelet. Asher wasn't exaggerating. It is everywhere. I scroll a few articles and get the gist of the story. There aren't any concrete details, and that gives me some reassurance. After eating breakfast, I end up on the living room couch working on my laptop. I need to go into the office, but I don't want Scarlett to wake up all alone. It's past 11 when she comes downstairs with wet hair, wearing a silk pajama set. "Hey." She stops a few feet away, running a hand through her hair self-consciously. I close my laptop and lean forward. "It's Christmas." Her eyes widen. "Shit, really? Really? Wow. I can get dressed. I feel like I should stop by the hospital, but we can go do something after if you want." I do want. Badly. I want nothing more than to drink hot chocolate and go skating and look at elaborate decorations and whatever other touristy shit people do here during the holidays that I'd normally look down upon. As long as I do it with her. But I can't. And I have to tell her why. I can't. I have to go into the office. On Christmas? You were supposed to have this whole week off. That was before. Before what? I nod toward the muted television. The banner at the bottom says the words I can't seem to. Kensington Consolidated investigated for insider trading, it reads. "Fuck," Scarlett breathes. "Yep. Is it true? I have no idea. But I've got to handle it either way. Can this take down the company? I don't know." I rest my elbows on my knees and scrub my hands over my face. The legal team is working on it. My dad and Oliver aren't taking my calls. What does that mean? It means they knew about this and kept me out of the loop. Maybe they were trying to protect you, Scarlett suggests softly. Fuck that. This is my family's company. My legacy. I'm supposed to be the next CEO. You didn't know anything about this. You didn't do anything wrong. If you have to, you can start over. Start your own company. If this goes that far, the Kensington name won't be worth much. Money talks. Most of mine is tied up in this sinking ship. I have money, sport. And you married me for mine. I stand and grab my laptop. So I'd better go bail out this ship, huh? Crew. I'm sorry I can't go to the hospital with you. I'm going to drive myself to the office. If you want Roman to take you, just give him a call. Okay, she says. Okay, I repeat. I walk over and kiss her. It's brief and sweet. She grabs the inside of my elbow, holding me in place for a minute. Merry Christmas, Red. Merry Christmas, sport. The meetings last for hours. I'm drained and irritated by the time I head back toward my office. Asher is waiting. His feet aren't up on my desk. If I'd ever told him why this hunk of wood holds sentimental value, I know he never would have put them up in the first place. Probably why I never did. Not many people challenge me. Nathaniel Stewart. What about him? I ask. You wanted the name. He was the leak. I sink down into my chair. How reliable is your source? Kira Ellis. Her father is. I know who her father is. The biggest media mogul in the country. There's more to come apparently. Nathaniel claims he has some of our internal documents. Damning ones. Asher raises a brow. Do those exist? No idea. Asher shakes his head. I'll admit the guy made a few good investments, but he's a bottom feeder at best. Coming after Kensington Consolidated makes no sense. I know exactly why he's doing it, but I keep that to myself. Good leadership is knowing when to share, and when to shut up. I'll take care of him. Asher shakes his head. Plotting revenge on Christmas? That's the crew Kensington I know. For a while I thought you'd gone soft. Scarlett is pregnant. Asher whistles and leans back in his chair. Already? All it takes is one time. Right. I'm sure you've had sex with your hot wife just the once. He pauses. Are you freaking out? No, I don't. Correct his assumption that this is a recent development. His tone is exasperated. Some. Like. I meant about the spawn you sired, crew. I know what you meant, but the baby isn't here. It's the size of a peach or something. She is. Then go home and be with her. I want to, but I know what I'll have to ask when I do. And it's not a conversation I'm looking forward to. Scarlett is curled up on the couch with Teddy when I get home, eating popcorn. I shrug off my suit jacket and loosen my tie as I walk into the living room, wishing I was in sweatpants like she is. Hey. Her voice is soft, hesitant, unsure. I take a seat near her feet. Teddy crawls over to lick my hand. How did it go? Too soon to tell. I've got to wait a few things out. She nods. How is your dad? He was sleeping. The doctor said that's normal. There don't seem to be any complications so far. That's good. Yeah. I inhale, exhale, chew the inside of my cheek. I found out who leaked the investigation to the press. Really? It was Nathaniel Stewart. I watch her reaction closely. See her eyes widen. Her lips part. Seriously. I trust my source. Why would he do that?
I hold her gaze.
I think you know why. Her hazel eyes widen. I told you. Nothing happened between us. I know. I believe you. He and my father were working on a deal. I put an end to it. Because of me? Because of you, I confirm. Why? Because you're mine. She scoffs. Real mature, crew. It was also a risky deal, but I wouldn't have bothered if it were with anyone else. Is there a point to this conversation? Her tone has turned sharp. Icy. I seethe silently. Nathaniel claims he has documents. Internal documents. Documents like the ones you requested. She sucks in a sharp breath. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm not accusing you of anything. I trust you, Scarlett. I just need to know. Did you tell him anything about the company? Is there anything he could use or twist or bluff? She stands, toppling half the pillows off the couch. I can't believe you. Are you seriously asking me this? I stand too. I'm in the dark here, Scarlett. This tornado just landed right on top of the company I'm first in line to inherit. People are relying on me. To lead, to keep their jobs, to save this company. If there's anything you know, My voice trails when I realize a horrifying fact. She's crying. Clear liquid streaks down her cheeks in shimmering trails. I'm the reason you're first in line. I step forward. Red. She steps back, swiping angrily at her cheeks. Fuck. You. Why don't you just make me wear a wire if you think I'm going around spilling company secrets to any guy that so much as smiles at me? I rub my jaw, trying to figure out where this conversation veered so far off course. I didn't want to bring Nathaniel up. I knew it would be a sore spot, but I had no idea it would become this. That's not what I'm saying. I trust you. There's no just, crew. You're doubting me, and I've never doubted you. I can't believe She shakes her head. Anything Nathaniel knows about Kensington Consolidated, he didn't learn it from me. Happy. I'm about the furthest from happy a person can get right now. No. Yeah, me neither. Merry fucking Christmas. I watch her stomp up the stairs. Merry fucking Christmas indeed. I end up back at the office. When in doubt, work, as the Kensington family motto goes. I'm used to spending late nights and long hours inside these four walls. I envy the employees who feel like they earned their position here. I still don't. Maybe I never will. Some second guessing is healthy. I don't think never feeling like you're working hard enough is. Except today, maybe for the first time I saw it. Respect. Today was the most tumultuous day Kensington Consolidated has experienced since my great-grandfather took a small loan and turned it into an empire. Yet no one asked where my father was, where Oliver was. They did exactly what I asked without question. Listened to me without questioning or whispering behind my back. And the one person I'm endlessly trying to impress, my father, wasn't even here to see it. And this same shitstorm made a mess between me and the one person whose feelings I care about. I spend a couple of hours going through emails and reports. Today was spent doing damage control. Everything else was shoved to the back burner, but still needs to be dealt with. When I finish, I pour myself a generous splash of bourbon and sprawl out on the leather couch in the corner of my office, debating whether I should go home or just sleep here. I sip and stare at the ceiling. The knock on the door startles me. I was certain I was the only one here at this hour. I'm not entirely shocked to see Isabel is the one opening the door. She was here all day by my side, doing anything she could to help. Hey, I reply. I didn't realize anyone was still here. Same. I saw the light on under the door on my way back from the restroom. I sit up and run a hand through my hair. What are you still doing here? She walks over and takes a seat on the couch next to me. Working. At? I glance at the clock. 10:30? On Christmas. Isabel shrugs. I'm not a big holiday person. That doesn't surprise me at all. Although it occurs to me, I know hardly anything about Isabel outside of her professional aspirations. Me neither. Is that why you're here? I sigh. Down more bourbon. No. I fucked things up with Scarlett. Oh. We had a fight. It was my fault. I didn't expect it to be like this, you know? We weren't supposed to feel so real. I drained the rest of my glass before standing and walking over to the bar cart, refilling my glass before I sink down beside her, slouching back against the couch. Quite the damn day, huh? Isabel leans back, mirroring my posture. Yeah. She pauses. The board's vote will be unanimous, you know. Vote about what? Making you CEO. I've got the right last name. You've got a lot more than that, crew. Her left hand migrates to my knee. Before I've had time to process the touch, she's sliding up my thigh with a clear destination in mind.
I'm frozen.
Shocked. For some reason, this wasn't an outcome I imagined when she entered this office. And it would be easy to let this unfold. Emotionless and empty. Exactly what I used to expect from sex. Scarlett would never need to know. Maybe she wouldn't even care after our argument earlier. But I would know. I would care. My brain is processing what my body already knows. I only want Scarlett. My dick isn't even reacting. And I haven't had that much to drink. I stand abruptly, leaving Isabel on the couch with a wounded expression. Go. Crew. I said go, Isabel. I'm your boss. If you want to keep your job, you'll never touch me inappropriately again. She stands, some defiance mixing with the hurt. I won't tell anyone about us. You can trust me. There is no us, and I don't trust you, Isabel. I'm married. Isabel scoffs. Not happily. I don't want you. Don't test me, Isabel. You won't like the consequences. Reality and stubbornness fight for space in her expression. I've had a crush on you since I started here, you know? I should have made a move sooner. Apparently, I was the only person in this city unaware you were engaged to Scarlett Ellsworth. What I get for avoiding gossip, huh? But then everyone said she was cold and detached and only in it for the money. So I thought I still had a shot. I sigh, suddenly exhausted. I am happily married, Isabel. She gives me a small sad smile. Yeah, I figured that out when you jumped away like I'd set the couch on fire. I didn't know you felt that way. If you want to transfer to another team, I can. No, it won't be an issue. I promise. I study her for a minute, weighing her sincerity. I don't give second chances. She swallows and bobs a nod. I know. Good. I watch her leave, then sink down behind my desk. If Asher ever caught wind of what just happened, I wouldn't hear the end of it for a while. He's the one who insisted Isabel had feelings for me. After her questions about Scarlett, I thought we'd moved past it. Thought she knew it would never happen. Even if Isabel had expressed interest sooner. I kept sex uncomplicated, and sleeping with a member of the board wasn't that. Now, I've never explicitly promised Scarlett fidelity, but up until the opportunity to cheat was dropped in my lap, literally, doing so didn't occur to me. My phone vibrates with a text from my brother. Oliver, I know you've seen the news. We're back in New York. Meet you at the office at 8. I stumble as I stand, either from the whiskey or the exhaustion catching up to me. But my steps are steady as I leave my exit and head toward the elevators. There's no sign of Isabel, nor anyone else. I know driving is a bad idea, so I flag a cab once I reach the street and give the driver the address for my family's estate just outside of the city. The trip takes 20 minutes. I start to feel the buzz of alcohol about 10 minutes in, but it doesn't deter me. After paying the driver and punching in the code, I walk through the front door. Automatically, my feet veer to the right, toward my father's study. There's already a light on, but I'm more focused on collapsing onto the couch than squinting at my surroundings. I hope you didn't drive here, my father comments, rising from behind his mahogany desk and walking over to the fireplace. He pours himself a glass of scotch and takes a seat in one of the chairs that flank the stone facade. Is it true? I ask the ceiling. My father sighs. Ice clinks as he swirls his glass. It's not quite as bad as the press is saying, but yes, there were some questions being asked. It was being handled. Damn it, Dad. Why didn't you tell me? So you could say exactly what you've been telling everyone all day. You had no idea. You should have told me. I'm supposed the future CEO. Nothing future about it. I'm stepping down. It will be official by the end of the week. Are you fucking kidding me? You're handing me the keys to the castle while it's under attack. Don't be so dramatic. The company will be fine. And if it's not? I snap. What the fuck then? They can't touch our personal fortune, crew. I exhale and sit up, relieved the walls stay where they should. Did you do it? No, my father's answer is swift and sure. But it happened. What do you mean it happened? Beckett Stanley was leaking information. I found out what he was doing, and I took care of it. Not by telling the authorities, I gather. You know the issues that would have caused. I got rid of him and appointed Isabel to the board in his place. I scoff. Issues? Sort of like the issues we're dealing with now. There's no evidence. They won't be able to do anything. I press my palms to my eyes and groan.
Jesús, Dad.
My father studies me like I'm a science experiment. What's the real issue? There needs to be another issue than being investigated and having stock in free fall and... Crew. She married me for my money, I bite out. She married the future CEO of a billion-dollar company. Not this. She'll get questions. It might even affect Haute and Rouge. My father blinks, appearing genuinely off guard. This is about Scarlett? Do I have another wife? I snap. I look at my hands, clenching them into fists. I love her, Dad. I love her so fucking much. I'm pissed at you and I'm worried about the company. But I'm fucking terrified this will change everything between us. A slight raise of his eyebrow is my father's only response to the whiskey-fueled declaration. Normally, I'd rather chew on razor blades than discuss this with my father. You have more to offer her than money, crew. One of the nicer things my father has ever said to me. But, she married me for my money, I repeat. She's the sole heir to billions and is making tens of millions off that magazine and clothing line. You really think she married you for money? She didn't need to get married, and she didn't need the money. Scarlett picked you. She chose to marry you. Her father told her to, I mumble. Because they're so close? Because she's easily manipulated. I scoff. My father knows how to employ sarcasm. Who knew? You must have wondered why the engagement was between you and her, not Oliver and her? Oliver needed to travel and manage the international holdings, while I would make New York my home base and strengthen the family business brand. I parrot the line he told the two of us for years. I decided that later. When Hanson and I first spoke about a potential arrangement, the agreement was that Oliver and Scarlett would get married. He's oldest and stands to inherit just as much as you do. It was the logical choice on the face of things. I look up. What? My father strokes his chin, looking at the fire, not me. Hanson came back to me a year later, when you were 16 and Oliver was almost an adult. Said he would honor the agreement, but only if it changed to you and Scarlett. He was adamant about it. Someone changed his mind. The only reason I ever figured he changed the terms was, he told her. I'm the reason you're first in line. I thought she meant our marriage when she said that. Don't assume she didn't choose you, crew. With those parting words, my father leaves me in his dark study with a head spinning from a lot more than just alcohol. Chapter 23. Scarlett. I wake up alone. Crew's side of the bed is empty and cold. If he came home last night, he didn't sleep next to me. I tossed and turned most of the night, so I'm confident I would have heard him come in. The realization he didn't creeps in slowly. With plenty of other doubts I try to push aside. I shower, then dry my hair and apply a light layer of makeup. Enough to cover the dark circles below my eyes and of course some red lipstick. Armor feels especially important today. I pull on a pair of black tights and a gray sweater dress. It's off the shoulder and loose without being baggy, camouflaging my small bump. At this point my pregnancy is somewhat of an open secret. I doubt anyone I work with has missed the fact that I stop drinking coffee, walk around carrying a granola bar, and occasionally run to the bathroom at inopportune times. Despite how strained our relationship is, it feels strange to tell my employees I'm pregnant before my own father. He was sleeping when I visited him yesterday, which was honestly a relief. My father and I don't have much to say to each other under the best of circumstances. Before I head downstairs, I peek into the guest bedroom Crew slept in when he first moved in. It's empty, the bed neatly made and unwrinkled. I'm stunned by how harsh and hard the panic hits. I thought I'd be okay if things between me and Crew ever went south. There's a saying. How you'll never know how much you want something until it's gone. That's not how I feel. I already knew how much I want him. I didn't know the pain of possibly losing him would feel this visceral, how I wouldn't be prepared for falling apart. So I do what I always do. I shove the pesky emotions far down and go to work. The office isn't as busy as it would be on a normal Thursday, but it's far from empty. Prep work for the February issue is in full swing, which has become my professional focus now that Rouge has officially launched. Approving the groundwork, from the branding to the hiring, has given me some flexibility in how much time I spend juggling my two endeavors. So has the reality I'll have to take a stretch of time off in a few months. Leah approaches as soon as she sees me step out of the elevator. Good morning. Good morning. My greeting is decidedly less cheery than Leah's. I'm so sorry about your father. I sigh. Thank you. He'll be fine, we think. Oh good. How was your Christmas? Could have been better, I admit. Yours? It was nice. My parents are visiting. You should go then. I told you to take today off. But you're here. I can manage. Just let me know. I glance up to see Leah is no longer paying attention to me. She's focused behind me on something. Someone. I glance over one shoulder. Sure enough, crew is stepping out of the elevator I left minutes ago, headed straight toward me. Most of the time, Haut's open layout is convenient. I can quickly assess who is at their desk. Different departments can collaborate. Right now it's fucking inconvenient. More people than I realized were even in the office today are poking their heads out of cubicles and from behind partitions, straining to get a better look. When I've been the subject of office gossip before, it wasn't firsthand. Up until now. This is primetime entertainment. What are you doing here? I snap. He looks good. He always looks good. Freshly showered and clean-shaven, and wearing a pressed, crisp suit tailored to fit him perfectly. I need to talk to you. Now. The condescending challenge in my voice would be enough to make most people shrink. Crew is not one of those people. Now. His tone is one I haven't heard directed at me in a while. Stern. Cold.
I'm Busse.
I'm not going anywhere. You've got a lot of nerve showing up here. Crew makes a show of looking around the office. Maybe there's a meeting I could crash while I'm here? Interrupt during. I glare. He glares back. I spin on my heeled boots and stalk in the direction of my office, not waiting to see if he's following. But he is. I feel his presence as soon as he steps inside my office, filling the confined space. While he shuts the door, I shrug out of my wool peacoat and toss it on a chair. Talk. I don't miss how his eyes skim over my body. We haven't had sex since we left Switzerland, the longest it's been in a while. If he drowned his annoyances balls deep in another woman last night, it doesn't look like it was very satisfying. His gaze lingers on the framed photograph of us on my desk before he speaks. You're mad. I snort. I'm pissed and I don't have time for this. I have a lot of work to get done today. Cut the shit, Scarlett. You were supposed to have this whole week off. That was before I became the sole breadwinner in the family. It's a low blow, one I almost feel bad for. Crew doesn't even flinch. Please, Scarlett. I just need to. Nice suit, I interrupt. Did you sneak in after I left? No. I kept some stuff at my old place. It's closer to my office. Contingency plan? He studies me. Is this your way of asking where I slept last night? Yes. No. He knows me too well. I was at my dad's. On the couch in his study if you want details. I didn't ask. Crew grips the back of one of the chairs that face my desk. This mess with the feds. There's some stuff there, Scarlett. He said it won't stick, but I can't make any promises. Promises about what? I question. You might not want your last name to be Kensington. It could affect Haute and Rouge. Financially, or at the very least you'll get questions. I might not be the CEO of a successful company. Or a respected one. Right now we're bleeding money. That's not what you signed up for. I watch his lips tighten. His jaw muscles flex and shift. So, I guess I'm asking. Do you want a divorce? I inhale sharply. I can't have this conversation right now, Crew. I'm at work. You can't just. He steps forward faster and closer than I'm expecting. I know. But please, Scarlett. Just answer the question. I can't. I've got to go meet with my dad. The lawyers. The board. And I can handle it. I will handle it. Okay. What does that have to do with me? I'll fight harder if I have something to fight for. He pauses. Otherwise, I'd consider walking away. I'd take Royce Raymond up on his offer, if it wasn't in LA. I tilt my head to see his face better. You told me the job was here. I lied. I wanted your honest opinion, and I knew California would tip the scales. It's not an option now though, obviously, with the baby. The baby, I repeat. So what? I'm worth fighting for until I'm no longer a human incubator? God no. Don't twist what I'm saying. This is exactly what you did last night. Last night. Right. When you accused me of downloading company documents for the sole purpose of blabbing about them too. I didn't accuse you of anything. Crew shouts. I asked Scarlett. I found out who the leak was. You know him, I don't. We're a team. I was trying to. If we're a team, then maybe you should have trusted me. Maybe you should have believed me. When did I not trust you? When did I not believe you? Crew retorts. My phone rings shrill and loud. I hesitate, but I pick up the receiver. Only a few people have the direct number rather than going through Leah, suggesting it's important. Scarlett Kensington. Scarlett. It's Jeff. I'm looking through the proofs for the next issue and I think that I tune him out. Crew leans forward and scribbles something on a pink sticky note. He tilts the photo of us so it's directly facing me, and then walks out of my office. Jeff, Hote's head graphic designer, keeps talking about image placement and positioning and presets. I pick up the note and read what he wrote. If you decide to file, just have your attorney tell mine. I'll be working late. My gaze ping-pongs between the photo and the closed door. Fuck. I fucked up. Jeff, I'm going to have to call you back. Without waiting for a response, I hang up and run over to the door of my office. I scan the floor, but there's no sign of Crew. Not in the kitchenette, not loitering by the elevators. Leah. I rush over to my assistant, who's standing by the main conference room talking to Andrea. Did you see Crew leave my office? Yeah. A few minutes ago. Where did he go? She shifts uncomfortably. He left. I swear. Loudly. Then keep walking until I reach the elevators. I bang on the down button a couple of times, hoping the doors will magically open. No such luck. That leaves the stairwell. I shove through the door, glad it doesn't set off some alarm. Evacuating the whole building is not on today's to-do list. The long descent is spent deliberating on how far I should take this chase. If he's not in the lobby, which I doubt based on how many steps I still have to go, do I go to Kensington Consolidated? Barge in and do exactly what I just chastised him for? He'll be home tonight, I assume. But then I think of the wording in his note. I'll be working late. Not I'll be home late. Not I'll see you later. Was that a deliberate phrasing? Finally, I reach the ground floor and burst through the metal door. It takes me a minute to scan the lobby. To my surprise, he's still here, handing a badge back to a guard at the front desk. And I'm hit with a whole new dilemma. What do I say? This was the furthest thing from a thought-out plan. Before I can second-guess, he spots me. Even from here, I can see his brow furrow. I walk over, trying to get my breathing under control. How did you get down here so fast? I ran down the stairs. Ran sounds more impressive than panting and slipping. You ran? Why the fuck would you do that? You're pregnant. I pin him with a flat stare. Really? I had no idea, I say sarcastically. Women have run marathons while pregnant, Crew. He shakes his head. Well, what are you doing down here? I thought you were so busy. You left. What you wanted, right? No. Yes, I wanted you to go. I'm annoyed and anxious and I try to keep my personal life totally separate from work, which is basically the opposite of yelling at each other in my office. But the answer to your question is no. I don't want a divorce. I hold his gaze. Better or worse, right? Relief floods his expression, smoothing the creases in his forehead. Richer or poorer seems more fitting for the current situation. Stock dropped more this morning. I lift and lower a shoulder. I promise both. I won't hold you to it. I won't fight you on it. I don't want a divorce, I repeat. His eyes close for a minute before he shrinks the small gap between us. He cups my jaw and I'm treated to a heady dose of déjà vu. This feels like our first kiss. The anticipation, the uncertainty, the possibility. I grip the stiff fabric of his shirt, pulling him closer. Crew brushes my hair back, runs his thumb along my jaw. This mess, it's not about the money or the company or the scandal or my dad. It's about you. It's about being the guy that's good enough to stand next to you. You were worried I wouldn't see you as an equal, as a partner? I'm worried about the exact same thing. It's so vulnerable saying I love you to someone you choose to love. Love toward my parents was obligatory, stemming from the biological fact that without them, I wouldn't exist and the opportunities their work allowed for. Love toward the baby I'm carrying is instinctual. He or she is my child, a tiny piece of me, my responsibility to protect and adore. None of that applies to Crew. I love him because I want to, because he challenges me and confides in me, supports and softens me. I know the moment he enters the room and the second he leaves. He sighs when I say nothing. I know I'm the one who barged in here and demanded to talk to you, but now I really do have to go. If it was just my dad, I'd make him wait, but it's the whole board and most of the legal department. I'll get home as early as I can tonight. Okay. I keep holding his shirt. Stay silent. His forehead wrinkles. Red. I love you. The words fall out of my mouth and hang between us. And, well, there it is. I said it. Awkward and unsure, I stare at Crew, waiting for him to react. Say something. Move. He's stunned, that much is obvious. Eyes wide. Lips parted like he was about to say something that no longer applies. He clears his throat. You don't have to say it back. It wasn't I didn't I. His fingers tilt my chin up, forcing me to look at him. He kisses me again, firm and warm and unyielding. It lingers on my lips with an invisible brand. Property of Crew Kensington. I love you, Scarlett. So fucking much. You do. To my embarrassment, my voice wavers. I genuinely wasn't sure if he does. It's part of why I hadn't said it until now. Not because I didn't want to show my cards, but because I didn't want him to feel like he had to. His thumb swipes my cheek, caressing my face like it's something precious. Yeah, he replies softly. I do. Crew is looking at me like I'm all he'll ever want. I let myself trust it, cherish it, believe it. Okay. Comes out as a whisper. I'll see you tonight. He tucks a strand of hair behind my ear, as unwilling to leave as I am to let him go. Reluctantly, I nod. He smiles, shakes his head a little, exhales. Okay. Then he drops his hand and walks away toward the glass doors separating the lobby from the street. I can see Roman standing outside, waiting next to the car. Crew pauses to say something to his driver before he climbs in the back seat and out of sight. I turn back toward the elevator with a smile on my face. This time it arrives quickly. I'm back in Holt's offices in a couple of minutes, with plenty of curious looks being aimed my way. Me running into the stairwell isn't a normal occurrence. When I walk into my office, it takes a few moments of staring stupidly at my monitor before I remember I have work to do. I start shuffling through papers on my desk, trying to decide what to prioritize. I have to call Jeff back. A pink sticky note goes fluttering to the ground. I reach down to pick it up and freeze. It's the note Crew wrote, but the side I'm staring at is the sticky back. The side I didn't think anyone wrote on. Crew did. And by the way, I love you. That's what he wrote. I stare at it for a minute, heart pounding. Then I pick up my phone and text him. Scarlett. Who writes on the back of a sticky note? Crew responds instantly. He must still be in the car. Crew. I feel like that's a rhetorical question. Crew. Don't feel bad, I said it first. Scarlett. You wrote it. Not the same thing. Scarlett. I just saw it. Crew. I figured that out halfway through our conversation, Red. Scarlett. You were just going to drop the L-bomb and leave. Crew. Drop the L-bomb? How romantic. Scarlett. Let me remind you the sentence started with, and by the way, hardly Hallmark material. Crew. I'll work on it. Crew. I'm at the office. Crew. I love you. I smile like he can see me. Scarlett. I love you too. I take the pink sticky note and tape it to my monitor, backside facing toward me. And then I pick up the phone and call Jeff back. Chapter 24. Crew. We should focus on a stock options report, Isabel suggests. Fine, I agree. If you talk through that, I can overview the projections analysis. I glance at Asher, who's sitting next to me. You good? I think I know the song and dance by now. And Isabel and I don't? Asher sighs. I'm good. Good. My phone buzzes with a text from Oliver, double-checking on dinner with our dad this weekend. I don't blame him for making certain I'll be there. My father told Candace the baby couldn't be his after Scarlett, and I left the chalet to see her dad. Candace admitted to lying about being pregnant, claiming my father wasn't giving her enough attention. They're in the midst of divorce proceedings now. I haven't told Oliver our father knows about him and Candace, and my father hasn't either, it appears. Hardly surprising. Unless it's a dirty secret he can use, my father is happy to sweep anything unpleasant under the rug, especially ones which can't be bought off. I reply to Oliver promising I will be there. Then switch over to my thread with Scarlett. The last thing she sent me was the link to the crib she wants. We've barely started setting up the nursery. She's been busy preparing for maternity leave, while I've been pandering to investors and associates of Kensington Consolidated, trying to do damage control. Like Asher said, it's been an exhausting, frustrating process. As CEO, I have no choice. And now that Scarlett is over 8 months along, I also need to find the time to assemble a crib. Asher glances at the phone screen, chuckles when he sees what I'm looking at. Damn. Never thought I'd see the day, Kensington. A secretary shows up to show us to the conference room before I have a chance to respond. The meeting lasts an hour. Goes well, which is a relief. Reputations aren't restored overnight, only destroyed. If Nathaniel Stewart had any Kensington consolidated documents, he never released them. Slowly but surely the whispers are dying out. We're all in high spirits as we pass the reception area and head toward the elevators. Isabel is chatting away, discussing improvements and takeaways. Ever since our late-night encounter on Christmas, she's made an effort to be overly professional and excessively efficient. The elevator arrives. A middle-aged man steps out, and the three of us walk inside. Crew. Asher interrupts Isabel's analysis of the stock solutions. What? I glance at Asher, who's making no attempt to brainstorm and analyze. He's squinting at his phone screen. Have you checked your phone? No, why? I have a bunch of missed calls from Celeste. Why would she be calling me? I'm no longer listening. I'm scrolling through the hundreds of missed notifications I have. Fuck. I jab the lobby button with my elbow as I tap Scarlett's name. As if that will speed up our descent. It rings and rings, finally going to voicemail. I swear again, then think. A quick Google search pulls up Haut's number. It rings 3 times before a woman answers. Haut Magazine, Alexandra speaking. How may I help you? I need to talk to Scarlett Kensington. Is she expecting your call? Just transfer me. I grit out. I'll see if her assistant is available. Cheery piano music echoes through the line as I watch the numbers tick down. Our meeting was on the 97th floor. We're only just hitting 80. Scarlett Kensington's office. How may I help you? I need to talk to her. Can I take a message? I'm her husband, I snap. So no, I need to talk to her now. The pleasant tone disappears. I can't remember Scarlett's secretary's name, but it turns out she's pissed at me. Why the hell weren't you answering earlier? She shouts the question and it temporarily shocks me. People don't speak to me like that. Oh my god. I'm so sorry, sir. Seriously. I don't think you can fire me, but she will if you. Where is Scarlett? New York General. Her water broke 45 minutes ago. I tried to go in the ambulance with her, but she wouldn't let me. She just wanted me to call you. I pinched the bridge of my nose. 63. I'm headed straight there. I hang up the phone, silently cursing the elevator to move faster. She's having the baby? I give Asher a dull look. No, her secretary just really wanted to ask you out. We're past the joking point. Got it. I bang my head back against the wall. We were supposed to have another month. I have to go straight there. I don't have time to take you two back to the office. Dude, you're about to become a dad. I'm coming with you. I nod, not bothering to respond. 1, because I don't really care what Asher does so long as it doesn't slow me down. 2, because I'm already freaking out enough without letting his answer fully sink in. The elevator doors open. I basically sprint toward the black SUV parked along the curb. Roman is leaning against the side of the car, reading a newspaper. His eyes widen as I race toward him. I assume Asher and Isabel are behind me, but I don't bother checking to confirm they're keeping up. Mr. Kensington is everything. Keys, I demand. Roman is an excellent driver as it relates to dressing and discretion, but I've never seen him so much as run a yellow. Wisely he listens, handing them over and climbing into the passenger seat. I round the front of the car and climb into the driver's side. Doors open and slam in the back, and I peel away from the curb like we're fleeing the scene of a crime. What hospital is she at? Asher asks. New York General. I swerve, narrowly missing a delivery guy on a bike. If we're going to the west side, you should take 7th. There's an accident on 8th. How many blocks? 5, no 7. Wait, no, actually 4. We reach a red light and I slam on the brakes. Cars are already beginning to cross from the other direction, so I can't run it. I glance in the rearview mirror. Do you or do you not know how to get there? Traffic is always a shit show, man. You know that. It keeps. He trails off. Oh wait. They cleared 8th. You should go that way now. I huff and tap at the black screen on the dash. Does this thing work? Yes, sir. I can connect it. Roman leans over and starts fiddling with the controls on the dashboard. A few seconds later, a map appears on the screen. The light turns green and I zoom forward, following the directions coming from the speakers. We hit another yellow, so I press down the accelerator and change lanes. Damn, Asher comments as I cut off a Mercedes, setting off a series of honks. We should have gone to Monaco to race like we talked about in college. You can seriously drive, man. My phone starts ringing, incoming call flashing across the screen. I'm about to reject it when I see it's Scarlett calling. Hello. My greeting is tentative. I know she must be pissed. It doesn't sound like you're dying in a ditch. In the back seat, Asher snorts. If I could flip him off while driving, I would. Scarlett, I swear I'm. An hour, crew. I've been here almost an hour. Where the fuck are you? I'll be there in 5 minutes. I cut off a cab. 10 tops. Where have you been? Why weren't you answering? I sigh. I had a meeting. My phone was on silent and I wasn't checking it. You promised me. All the anger in her voice has drained away. The uncertainty that's left behind makes me press harder on the accelerator. You promised me I wouldn't have to do this alone. We hit another red, and I barely restrain another profanity as I tap an urgent beat on the steering wheel, urging it to change back to green. You won't, baby. I'm almost there. I'm scared, crew. She says the words softly, but they have the effect of a shout for how they hit me. It hurts so fucking much and they couldn't find a heartbeat at first and I'm freaking out. A tight fist of fear squeezes my chest. I fight through the panic before it can choke me. She needs assurance, not more anxiety. Red, I'll be there. I swear. But even if I were in a ditch somewhere, you can do this. Just breathe. This is what all those classes were about, right? You weren't paying attention during Lamaze. Scarlett sounds like her usual self again, and I almost pass out from relief. I definitely shouldn't be driving, but I can see the hospital up ahead. Only 1 block away. Yes, I counter. You just focus on one thing and then do the really fast breaths. And then what? I glance at Roman for help. He shrugs. I thought you had kids, I hiss. Another shrug. Exhale, I suggest. Scarlett laughs. It's more strained and reedy than her usual laugh, but it loosens the tightness in my chest some. You're so full of shit. I knew you weren't paying attention. I stop the SUV with a screech of tires under the ambulance bay. I leave the car running and the keys in the ignition, just grab my phone and run toward the automatic doors into the busy hospital. There are white coats and gurneys everywhere. A child is crying somewhere close. The PA system is crackling, telling some surgeon to report 201. I press the phone against my ear. What floor are you on? 5. I rush for the elevator bank, then alter course when I spot a sign for a stairwell. There's a lot of nervous energy I need to burn off. I take the flights 2 steps at a time and yank open the door with a massive 5 painted on it. The hallway looks the same as the lobby downstairs, all white tile and fluorescent lights. There's a desk to the right. Scarlett Kensington, I pant. What room is Scarlett Kensington in? The nurse studies me, stern and assessing. Are you a relative? I'm her husband. The father. Where is she? She taps some keys on the computer. The seconds feel like minutes. Room 526. I start to the right, only to discover the numbers are going down, not up. I sprint to the left until I reach 526 and burst inside. Scarlett is sitting up in bed, listening to a white coat-clad man who must be a doctor. When she sees me, her expression collapses. I rush to her side, grabbing her hand and kissing her head. You must be crew. I'm Dr. Summers. Is something wrong? Dr. Summers looks somber. I was just telling your wife we can't wait any longer. I'm afraid the baby isn't positioned properly for a natural birth. We'll need to do an emergency C-section before the baby goes into distress. Distress? I echo. Scarlett's hand tightens around mine. We'll do everything we can to prevent that from happening. That's why we need to move quickly. For the first time since I've known her, Scarlett looks young and scared. Frail. Can my husband stay with me? She asks in a tinny voice. Dr. Summers smiles kindly, but his tone is firm. I'm so sorry, but no. We don't allow family members in the operating room during emergency surgery. Emergency surgery. Those 2 words permeate the fog in mind. Sharp panic cuts through as dread coils in my stomach. A nurse will be in shortly to take you downstairs. I'm frozen. Scarlett's breathing is quick and choppy. You knew? When we were on the phone. They told me there might be complications when I came in. I knew you'd get here as soon as you could. She gives me a wry smile that falls short. Sorry for freaking out on the phone. I should have had my ringer on. What complications? What Dr. Summers said. The baby isn't flipped the right way. But since my water already broke, they can't wait any longer to see if it will reposition. I inhale, torn between pelting her with more questions and avoiding freaking her out. A woman in pink scrubs enters the room. The nurse smiles at Scarlett. Ready to become a mom? Her cheer doesn't sound feigned, but it doesn't register as real. This isn't how this was supposed to happen. It doesn't feel like a happy, joyful moment. Scarlett smiles back but doesn't reply. The nurse gives an understanding nod. Ready. Ready, Scarlett replies. Her hand squeezes mine. I lean down and kiss her forehead, letting my lips linger. I love you. Scarlett's grip tightens. I love you too. Then she lets go. The nurse wheels her bed away. As soon as there's an update, someone will let you know, she tells me on her way out. All of a sudden, I'm standing in an empty hospital room alone. My body feels heavy, my limbs disconnected. Breathing becomes difficult. I need out of this tiny room. I'd go outside if I weren't terrified of missing an update. I walk back into the waiting room in a daze. Asher stands when I appear. Honestly, I forgot he was here. Isabel went back to the office. What's going on? Asher asks. That seems sort of fast. Under any other circumstances, him pretending he knows anything about childbirth, specifically the length of time it takes, would be amusing. I'm too anxious to do anything but pace right now. Back and forth. This waiting room looks the same as the one in the cardiac wing. While waiting to hear if Hansen had made it, I didn't experience any trepidation. His death wouldn't make me lose any sleep. Scarlett's would shatter me. Just the hypothetical thought has my throat tightening and my eyes stinging. I feel like ants are crawling across my skin, like my clothes are too hot and too tight. I try to take deep breaths, to pull in the air tinged with antiseptic. Crew, you're freaking me the fuck out. What is going on? In, out, in. I keep pacing. She's in surgery. Surgery. Asher's eyes widen. Is that normal? No, it's not normal, I bite out. Do you want me to call anyone? I don't care. The honest answer is I don't know. Scarlett and I never discussed who we'd invite to the hospital or when we would. I figured I'd be with her, that we'd get to make these decisions together, after we had a healthy baby. I keep pacing. I don't know what time she went into surgery, how long a C-section takes. I'm totally unprepared, and the only thing that's keeping me from totally losing it is the hope that any minute someone will come tell me they're both fine. I walk in circles until I start to feel dizzy. Then I sit, bounce my knee, spin my wedding ring in circles, press my palms to my eyes and try to pretend I'm anywhere else. Vaguely, I'm aware of activity around me. By calling anyone, Asher apparently meant everyone. My father, Oliver, Josephine and Hansen, who is fully recovered from his health scare. Scarlett's family huddles with mine, whispering, probably about me. Wisely, none of them approach me. An eternity passes before Dr. Summers appears. I stand as soon as I see him. Your wife is asking for you, crew. Relief hits me so hard I feel like my knees are about to buckle. She's okay. My voice cracks between the O and the K. Dr. Summers smiles and nods. She's okay. And you've got a healthy baby girl. A girl. I have a daughter. The thought feels foreign even after months of knowing this was coming. Can I see them? My voice sounds like my throat is filled with rocks. He nods. Of course. Follow me. Dr. Summers leads me to a different room than before. Scarlett is lying down, with a blanketed bundle resting on her chest. I'll give you a minute, he says, then disappears. Scarlett looks up as soon as I step inside the room. Her smile is wide and brilliant. She has your eyes. I reach the bed and catch the first glimpse of my daughter's face. She's perfect. And Scarlett's right. Her eyes are the same shade of blue as mine, the color I inherited from my mother. The first time I saw you, I thought you had the most beautiful eyes I'd ever seen, she tells me. I turn my head so I can press my face against her hair, feeling my eyes burn for the first time in my adult life. I was so scared, so fucking terrified. Red. I'm okay, she assures me. We're okay. I look back at the tiny human we created together. Wow. I know. Scarlett echoes my odd tone. Do you want to hold her? I swallow. Yeah, I do. The fake baby from the birthing class felt nothing like the real thing. Scarlett passes me our daughter, and she's tiny and perfect and real. We should have decided on names sooner. I smile wryly. And ordered the crib, probably. Scarlett's eyes widen. Fuck. I'll take care of it, I assure Scarlett. She'll have a bed. I look at my daughter. You'll have a bed. Wow, Scarlett comments, staring at us. You're a total dope. I figured you would be. But it's different that it's my kid too, you know? I snort a laugh and it feels good. Expels the last swirls of anxiety. What about Elizabeth? Scarlett asks. I study the small innocent face. That same tug from my wedding appears, wondering what my mom might have to say on a day like today. She would have known what to tell me when Scarlett was in surgery. I clear my throat. Don't feel like we have to. I don't. Won't your mom be offended? Scarlett scoffs but then sobers. It could be her middle name, I guess. Elizabeth Josephine Kensington, I say softly. Yeah. I like it. Me too, Scarlett states. She's here, I tell her. Your mom. Your dad too. Really? Asher called them along with my dad and Oliver. I wasn't in the mood to talk to anyone, and we hadn't talked about who we'd call and when. Scarlett nods. You can see if they want to come meet Elizabeth. Are you sure? I'm sure. Okay. I'm reluctant to relinquish Elizabeth, loath to leave this room, but I hand her back to Scarlett and retrace my steps to the waiting room. They're all still there. I wasn't sure if they would be. I clear my throat. Dad? Hanson? Josephine? Do you want to meet your granddaughter? All three of them look stunned. Maybe it's just hitting them their grandparents. Maybe they didn't expect this offer. To my surprise, Hanson stands first. Josephine follows. My dad is the last to rise, but he does. I glance at Oliver. Go ahead, he mouths. Me and my dad trail after Scarlett's parents down the hallway. We named her Elizabeth, I tell him quietly as we walk down the hallway. My father is often unpredictable. I don't want his response to the revelation, positive or negative, to color the first meeting. 231, I tell Josephine and Hanson when we near Scarlett's room. They enter. I hear Josephine exclaiming. My father and I linger outside. He squeezes my shoulder. I'm proud of you, crew. Your mother would be too. Then he heads inside. I'm left standing in the hallway, crying for the second time today.